Hey, what's going on, folks at home? My name is Matthew, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Hooked on Jesus podcast. On this podcast, we get the chance to dive into Bible studies, tell some funny stories, and have I'm already messing up. Have some cool discussions about what we read in the Bible. In the previous episode, we got to read and discuss the events of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, along with introducing my good friend right here, Nathan, where it was his first ever time being on a podcast. And before we get started, I just wanted to let y'all know we are once again just like episode was it 10, I think. Yeah. We're going to be doing two chapters of scripture because once again, shorter sections of scripture that we're going to be reading. So how y'all doing?
I I'm doing well. I school's out. Stuff
Oh
started.
yeah, yeah.
Finally
Schools.
made it.
Yeah, for those of us who are college students
Yeah,
here,
the gauntlet is
finals are
over.
done. Passed the
The
finals.
chain
Passed my
is
classes. All
broken
that fun
off.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm just really excited to be back here. The first one I felt like went really well. It was really exciting to do it again, or just to do it the first time. So being back here is really fun. I'm really excited to do it again.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful that you're here. All right. Y'all want us to go ahead and just get started?
Yeah, let's do it. Then
All right,
you go
let's get
first.
rolling. So
Do you want to introduce?
I'm definitely zooming in on that because I definitely I just hit the microphone.
Yeah.
it probably
So
it probably came through.
I'm ready when you
So
guys are.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we are starting
you
off.
said that you're going to be reading
I am
16,
reading
right?
16. Are you doing
All
17?
righty. Yep.
Okay. So
All right,
we are
go
starting
right
with
ahead.
Matthew 16.
Oh, I forgot to say for everybody, and I think I forgot to do this in the last episode as well. We are currently reading in the, I don't know if y'all can see that, I'll probably zoom in, the New International Version because it's easier for newer folks to read. So yeah, sorry to interrupt
I
you.
had to make sure I was on
I
NIV too.
just didn't do
No,
that
no, you
last
made me because
episode,
I was like,
and
oh, am I on there too? Yeah, I had to check myself. So
you're good.
we're starting with
All right.
Matthew 16, verse 1,
Mm-hmm.
of course. The demand for a sin, the demand for a sign. Excuse me.
Already with the mispronunciations. I'm just kidding.
Demand for a sign. The Pharisees and the Sadducees came to Jesus and tested him by asking him to show them a sign from heaven. He replied, when evening comes, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning, today it will be stormy, for the sky is red and overcast. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, but none will be given it except the sign of Jonah. Jesus then left them and went away. You're now on the section, the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. When they went across the lake, the disciples forgot to take bread. Be careful, Jesus said to them. Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees. They discussed this among themselves and said, it is because we didn't bring any bread. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, you have little faith, why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread? Do you still not understand? Don't you remember the 5 loaves for 5,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many basketfuls you gathered? How is it that you don't understand that I was not talking to you about bread, but be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understood that he was not telling them to guard against the yeast used in the bread, but against the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And then we're on. Peter declares that Jesus is the Messiah. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea of Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do you say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you? He asked. Who do you say I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you lose on earth will be lost in heaven. Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Now we're on Jesus predicts his death. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and they must be killed, and on the third day be raised to life. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Never, Lord, he said. This shall never happen to you. Jesus turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns. Then Jesus said to his disciples, Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then will reward each person according to what they have done. Truly, I tell you, some who are standing here will not taste death before seeing the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
All right. Yeah, you did a very good job, by the way, Nathan.
Thank you.
Yep.
I got my first stutter out the way.
Well, you're gonna something else.
Yeah, and then everything else was pretty smooth. Yeah, you did a good job. All right. So I'll go ahead and be the one to be reading chapter 17 of the book of Matthew. And this first section starts at verse 1 and is titled The Transfiguration. What'd you say? After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up in a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. I just went backwards. Oops. I just went backwards. Coming back to verse 2. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah, talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was speaking, a bright cloud covered them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell face down to the ground, terrified. But Jesus came and touched them. Get up, he said. Don't be afraid. When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus instructed them, Don't tell anyone what you have seen until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. The disciples asked him, Why then do the teachers of the law say that Elijah must come first? Jesus replied, To be sure, Elijah comes and will restore all things, but I tell you, Elijah has already come, and they do not recognize him, but have done to him everything they wished. In the same way, the Son of Man is going to suffer at their hands. Then the disciples understood that he was talking to them about John the Baptist. Oh my goodness, I'm stuttering like crazy. Sorry about that. The next section is Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy, and it starts in verse 14. When they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they cannot heal him. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Jesus replied, How long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, Why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, Because you have so little faith. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, Move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. The next section is Jesus predicts his death a second time. When they came together in Galilee, he said to them, The Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men. They will kill him, and on the third day he will be raised to life. And the disciples were filled with grief. The final section starts at verse 24 and is titled The Temple Tax. After Jesus and his disciples arrived in Capernaum, the collectors of the two drachma temple
50-50
tax,
coin flip,
yeah, really, came to Peter and asked, Doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax? Yes, he does, he replied. When Peter came into the house, Jesus was the first to speak. What do you think, Simon? He asked. From from whom do you think the kings of the earth collect duty and taxes? From their own children or from others? From others, Peter answered. And then the children are exempt, Jesus said to him. But so that we may not cause offense, go to the lake and throw out your line. Take the first fish you catch, open its mouth, and you will find a 4 drachma coin. Take it, and you will, take it and give it to them for my tax and yours.
Okay.
Did you say Texas?
No taxes.
Oh, taxes,
I'm
okay.
done now. Taxes. Very talked about that way too much in my.
Not a political show.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, not
to
at all.
end
Let's not
my
get into that.
senior year, to end my freshman year
Mm-hmm.
this year, I did.
What is
I
it?
did
No, go ahead.
assignment
Go ahead.
after
You started.
assignment
Go ahead.
after final project about taxes. Now it's just all coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Says the word one time and you get your flashbacks.
Man, I don't like Texas.
I think
Don't we
anybody
say it's
listening
not
to this
pulp?
is on the same
Yeah.
page. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah,
steamy
unless
hot take.
they're not okay.
Yeah.
Platitude. It's a platitude.
Maybe.
That's
Platitude?
the word I was looking.
Let me put that word out of
So,
here on the
a
screen.
little context,
Platitude.
We were talking about. We were trying to find the word for. Thank you. We were trying to find.
Yeah,
words.
go ahead and get closer to the microphone, or you can just bring it up to you.
I'll just lean over. So we were talking about words or phrases that are said over and over that start to lose their meaning. And I think you found the word. We were trying to find the word in the car, but we just couldn't think about it. Is it actually platitudes?
It is a remark or statement, especially one with moral content that has been used too often to be interesting or thoughtful.
There you go.
I'll go ahead and put an image of the
Hey,
definition that
that's
he
the
just
word. That's
gave
the
right
URL.
here.
Hey, that's the word of the day. We can.
Oh yeah, cue the more you know thing.
Yeah, dude. Let's
That
make
is
that a
the
staple.
more you know thing. It's a new word we've learned
So
here.
you guys have
Platitude. We were
Platitude.
arguing platitude and euphemism.
So does anybody have anything they would like to?
Thank you for getting me off that track.
I was gonna ask if y'all did
I
first.
do, but I kind of want to see Andrew. Do you have anything?
Well, first and foremost.
Got to start it off with some.
Oh, thank you, man.
Give us some momentum.
Well, okay, yeah. I'll go.
Make sure you're in front of the
Alright,
microphone.
Anyway, one of the things is, how many times I think throughout the Gospels, how many times revealing signs is shown as being a bad thing, a negative thing.
Right.
I think we see it a lot today, as many things as we can see through the gospel. This one's really shown today. How many times?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It tends to be shown as like cultish to other people
Yeah, well,
of other
how many
religions.
times? I think this
Even
is the
even
best thing I can
atheists
think of.
think of that.
How many times do we look at, especially Instagram or something like that, where something bad will happen, and then they'll be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this is proof that there's nothing because this proves that
Yeah,
bad
there's
things
proof
can
there's no
happen."
God.
Where
It's like,
is
nope,
that?
it's not.
So I think with other,
You're just showing me that something bad happened. You know, it's not
yeah,
like
and I
It's just a
think
very.
actually, Matt, that'd be a good episode if we did like answering that moral question or moral dilemma.
oh yeah, answering which one?
The moral dilemma of like, why do bad things happen?
Yeah,
Just
Oh yeah,
such
that-
a
honestly,
why
yeah,
do bad
that's
things happen to the good people, but I think
we could
There's so
do
many
that next.
examples.
Well, actually, we probably could answer it here. Would you like
Well,
to?
this is my theory. This is my working
Okay.
theory.
we can jump.
Go
into
ahead.
kind
Go
of
ahead. Go for it.
So,
idea.
oh, it's not
Go
really
for
a working theory. I mean, there are
Go for it.
alternations to this idea, but the idea is that it doesn't. Okay, so we originally, you good? Speaking of bad things.
Just make sure you're going on the side. Just
Okay,
kinda
thank
tilt
you.
your head, yeah.
So like, you good?
Yeah, I had to make sure. So I have this little tap function where I can go mute my microphone without having to make a noise like those two do.
So what I was saying was,
So yeah.
you have a situation where, yeah, I lost my breath.
You're good. You're
One
good.
of the things is like, we are fallen first and foremost. I think that you cannot
Right.
have any of this argument if you don't look at that fundamental fact first, right? So when you,
Make sure you're not hitting the table.
Am
as
I hitting
much,
the
by
table?
way.
well,
For emphasis.
You're good. You're good. I mean, I get
It's
it.
a shame.
I get what
well,
you're
when
doing.
you're
here.
having when people are fallen, that's the first fact to understand, right? So we're not blaming. We're blaming issues on the right subject first and foremost. We need to
Right,
look at the right
exactly.
subject, and then we have to look at the fact of there's another variable, and this is something you can go deeper into. It's been
Mhm.
arguments for many centuries. Free will. So when you have free will, and then you, as the human, have done bad things, you're cursed, you're fallen. It
Right,
points
exactly.
to it takes away that pointing from
Mhm.
God. It takes away from, because I mean you're the one that did the problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you should be taking it upon yourself. I mean, I mean, atheists believe God to be fictional, right? So then why the heck are they blaming a supposed fictional God for the bad
Well,
things
I
that
think
Well,
happen?
that
because they're trying to prove their point. It's almost like they do it out of like irony, almost. I think some of them do that.
Yeah, it actually does
well,
seem
it's a
ironic. Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I think they're doing it to like, as a way to, oh, thanks, as a way to kind of like prove their point. Kind of dry,
Right.
you know, um, if it's their way of showing like, hey, what you believe in. They're trying to show the flaws or the cracks in their argument. So I
Mhm.
don't think they're actually trying to use that argument to like actually prove it. I think they're just trying to throw it back in people's faces,
Yeah.
the believers, and that's just the way they kind of tend to try to emphasize their points or their arguments.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my stance on it.
So then what you're saying is like, oh, because um so and so did this detestable act, then that means, God is not all loving, all knowing, or
They'll throw
something
it
about.
kind of in people's faces.
it's a Trump.
Like,
It's a
Right.
Trump
oh,
card,
if he
basically.
was real, why didn't he stop it? It's irony. They're not actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's almost kind of irony.
Yeah, and like Andrew said, yeah, it just comes back to free will because um we're free to do whatever we please now just because, we have the ability to do, let's say,
Rob a bank.
I'm just pulling this out of my head, like go kill somebody,
Yeah.
murder them doesn't make it okay.
No, I mean it
Well,
doesn't.
Right.
and I kind of get this weird, kind of confused where the mindset comes from because a perfect life it was never guaranteed. It was never and when I say perfect, like I mean like nothing bad will happen to you. Only things you might view as good for you specifically will happen to you. And I just tend to kind of not frustrated, but almost kind of like it's a little bit more abundant than I would like, where people believe that Christianity is just a way to a perfect life. It's just,
Right,
hey,
right. That's yeah. There's a lot of people with that kind of message
you've
going
been
around.
baptized, so why did somebody in your family
Man,
Yeah,
pass away?
it's like why do all these good things? If you're so-called saved, as some people would
why
say.
were you
Being saved
sick
is
the
not a
last 3 days?
is not a key to a
It's not a get out of
it's
jail free
not
card.
the door to a so-called perfect life.
Right.
It's you know saying you're putting yourself in the faith. It's not. People say like, oh, you're Christian, so why do you not have the perfect life? That's proof God is not real. When not only was that never promised, it's also um, multiple times talked about. Like
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
multiple
even look
times.
that's
like the
also in this
disciples, and it's
chapter
like
or next
they don't
chapter.
Hmm.
have
I'm not
any.
mistaken.
Even here you'll see stuff like that, like I mean, where Christ predicted his death. He's even though he's the perfect man or whatever, he had to be sacrificed for our sins
I mean, and what did you
because
say?
he
Like
was the
Job.
perfect man.
If you want to bring that,
Yeah,
Job. The thing with
Job's a
Job
good topic.
is
Yeah.
that it's
maybe I haven't done as much as you on it, so
no,
I might
no.
get.
You're right about Job.
Okay, yeah.
You're
Well,
right
Neither
yeah,
have
yeah. I
about
wanted to make
I.
sure we
no.
got
You're
that
right
right.
about Job. But no. I would say you're
That's
about
got
100%
that's gonna be a
right.
good one to cover,
You're
by
about
the way.
100% right about that one.
I feel like
I
this
think that's a good
discussion will
person.
come back with Job.
Yeah.
I feel like this discussion is gonna come back with Job.
I do not have the mental capacity to get into something as deep as Job right now. No way.
No, not right now. I'm saying when we cover it.
Well,
No,
yeah.
we
I
never
mean,
covered it.
we're good.
No,
We're
I'm saying
obvious. I
when we
mean,
cover it.
Oh,
yeah.
we'd have to.
The plan is to cover it at some
We would
point.
be going
but-
backwards.
So, do you guys have any highlighted? Well, I know you guys do. What are your highlighted sections?
I wanted to talk about if we're going to.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm asking if you guys would go to chapter 16, verse
Chapter
13.
16,
13.
verse 13. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you?
When
Yep.
Jesus came to the region of
Caesarea.
Caesarea, yep.
Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" So I think where I want to look into that is here we have some examples that are, of course, relevant to that time period.
Yep.
Right.
This goes to what Nathan was saying. I think to a modern context, the difference between what's being shown here and what's showing today is I think we know who Jesus is, but we also don't know who he is. So I think we know he was a person. We know he was down on a cross, debating if he rose from the dead for some people. But the idea is that
Right.
a lot of people, I think, falsify what he really is. I think people, like
Mhm.
Nathan was saying, they think he's the gateway to perfect life.
Yeah,
I
and
think-
what's also one thing to consider is our perception of God is not at all what he is really,
Well, I don't
because
think we'll ever get there.
he's infinitely, yeah.
Just one thing I do want to say, with the perfect life thing, I do
Or
want to
maybe your
mention.
tuition
That's,
will figure it
the
out.
reason why I like to put perfect life in quotations is because a lot of what is a perfect life to many is infused with a lot of sin. Like,
Right.
it's infused with a lot of things like greed,
Mhm.
God, I
That was
appreciate
good.
it. I feel like
That was
greed is
good.
where
This bu-
I kind of would like to
This
stem
bump
from.
of
You know,
brotherhood.
hey, you are, you've been baptized. Why are you not rich? Why do you not have a mansion? Why are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
why
this
don't
might
why
become
don't
an
why don't you live like Joel
Yeah,
Osteen?
this is about to become like an anti-prosperity gospel thing. Oh no, we're getting close.
That's
I'm just
essentially
saying,
what
like,
we do
Very
here.
close to
and
the
I'm
sun.
like, why can't these things? Why can't just what I want happen, right? And a lot of these things, it's just, well, because a perfect life in a lot of people's, it's just not a real perfect life. It's not.
Mhm.
It's a lot of times can be, I've already talked about greed, materialism, but then you also
Right.
have like, just other things. I'm kind of,
There's subjective
yeah,
measures.
that's what I would like to say. It's so subjective what a perfect life is that it's almost, when people say like, "Ooh, why do you not have to, why can't God give you a perfect life?" Define it.
It's not that he
Well,
can't. It's
well,
just
that's what an
I don't
atheist
think a lot of
argument
people.
yeah. I know
I
I
don't
know I
think
know
a
I
lot
know.
of
I'm
is,
just
people.
or a very like shallow argument.
I was just answering the question
Yeah,
for
I'm
those.
just saying like define it.
And I'll
What
put
is a perfect
And
life
I'll
to
put
you?
it like this.
Yeah,
I think a
exactly.
lot of people, including us, right? I don't want to make this seem very, I don't want to make this seem anything,
Yeah.
but I think none of us really want a perfect life. I don't think we do, because I mean, it takes a lot of.
No, because
Like I
we
think
would
do,
we would
but I don't think we really
be
do.
we wouldn't be given the ability to truly, be given the chance to love God.
That's the only
feel.
thing that
Perfect life is I mean
Well,
is
It's the perfect
frankly,
life.
it's impossible.
Well, if you look
because
into-
there's
Yeah.
only one person that did live a perfect life by definition.
well, a lot of
Um,
scholars believe that.
And that's
yeah,
Christ
only
Jesus is
thing-
the only one who lived by textbook definition perfect life.
Literally
in
biblical
accordance to-
definition
yeah,
of
in
being
accordance
perfect.
to all
Excuse
this,
the voice crack.
Do any of you guys want to
That's
sign up for that?
That's
I don't-
impossible to do, right?
I hit the microphone again. Sorry.
But right, like that's impossible to have a perfect life. So like,
Right.
It's,
We have an example. My question is,
What do you mean?
who's ready for it?
Well, no, you can't be. Well,
I'm not sure.
Wait,
Well, we're
who's your
gonna
example?
be.
We're gonna have to.
we're-
That's
who's
the
your
reason why we
example?
do this all the time.
Who's your example? You said you had an example.
Jesus.
Okay, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You
a
said,
lot.
are people ready for it? Do you think? I don't think it's possible.
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
not
think.
possible.
I'm actually being. I'm gonna take this a step further. I don't think a lot of people would sign up for that.
No,
What? Perfect
No,
life?
I don't think so.
absolutely not.
I think because look, you have to take away greed. You have to take away a material eye. You have to take away.
Well, you also got to take away a lot of good things, because
Well, what do you mean by good?
Yeah,
I would
good
say
is-
sin.
good
I,
is
I
not
say
sin
I
would
say
be
this
good.
because there's not gonna there one day there's not gonna be a need for hospitals. There's one day not gonna be a need for
Yeah, and
police
your
stations,
second home.
firefighters, nutritionists. What else can I
Don't
think
tell
of?
me. Don't tell me my job. Don't tell me my major. Man.
There's not gonna be a need for that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't care about the economics.
It's like
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
it's
there's
just
definitely
such
gonna be another
bad.
thing.
And
I
I
know
know
that.
we're not like on. Well, no, we're flying over Keisha.
well, we're
branching off.
discussing stuff that's related to the
Awesome,
topic. Yeah,
So,
we're good.
Oh, this is.
well, I'm just glad I'm just following your format. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a frankly just silly argument because and this happens, and I actually find most people do this. In time of atheist or non-believers will throw this argument in times of crisis. Not this is a time when they feel like they can kind of get an edge up.
Right.
When somebody dies in the family or somebody passes away, and it's like
Yeah.
why
It's like it's reminds me of what Cliff said on a
Oh, absolutely.
little talk with Charlie Kirk. Um,
That I did not know they
yeah,
did that collab.
yeah. Him and Stewart went on a talk with Charlie Kirk, and he was talking about he's like, come on, my atheist agnostic friend, come see where the child who's being destroyed by cancer, lay here in the hospital bed. What you gonna do? Wave your fist at God and say, oh, I blame you? It's like
Well, no, it was our fault to start off
it's like
with.
no, you're gonna want to be there
I
present,
don't think we're ever
with.
going to understand the full grasp of why we did
No,
things.
we're
I
not
think
going to.
I think we can get pieces, and I think the best thing we can look at is the idea of I just don't. It's accountability. Accountability is tough, and
Mm-hmm.
y-
It definitely is
when you
tough.
say
Yeah, for
accountability,
sure.
you mean for just sin in general?
yeah, I mean, there's
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
accountability. I mean, there's
It's definitely a difficult thing
it's
to
hard to
account for
grasp.
sometimes.
I have a lot of sympathy for those people. I do. I really do. Because this idea of let's just they gotta be they gotta be justified. They gotta. How many times do we hold ourselves accountable? No, not many of them.
And
We're bad with that. So I
and
think the best idea.
Well, yeah, because we're
No,
human
I
beings.
think the best thing is we need to hold. I think it's not about. Thanks, Matt.
Go ahead.
It's not about how well we can hold ourselves accountable at in a vacuum. I think it's the fact that we have to understand what got us here in the first place. So yes, we may be doing, good things in life, but we still have done bad things. We have
Right.
fueled thank you. We have fueled that
I'm just making sure you're close enough to the
we have
microphone.
kind
That's
of
all.
fueled this machine almost to where it's a cycle where we
Mhm.
sin and
Yeah,
that brings on disease and that
a lot
brings
of
on
atheists do believe we're biological machines or whatever without any sense of truth or anything.
what do you mean biological?
they're saying and
So they're saying that there is no sense of like there's no actual good and evil. So they're moral relativists
it's
basically. So
instincts. Everything's instinctual.
yeah, it's instincts. It's not
That's-
like it's not like there's no actual good and evil.
I would
them.
disavow that in terms
there's
of
verifiably there are
Of course,
Well,
none of
this
the
is-
no atheist I've ever met actually lives up to that standard.
there are
the
things
idea
that,
is
from
even common sense shows
at
that
birth no even at birth there are things that now I'm not a science major, but if I'm recalling correctly,
well,
but
you
there
are
are
a science
even
major.
there are things that like even
You're a science major.
I'm a science
Yeah, there are
major. I just finished my
there
first
are
year.
things that we instinctually
Yeah.
do, like
but
breathing,
like,
like all that stuff. But
even when a child's born, they know like human death is bad, right? This is
right,
you can check this. This is why this although it's a bit strange, it kind of prove my point. This is why humans don't can't. This is why cannibalism is an immediate problem for your brain. This is why it almost cannot
Mhm.
do it because
Right.
it is a moral line that most people are. I say most. I hope
Well, even on-
everybody is encoded with.
Right.
And I think there is a verifiable um, moral line. I feel like there's always going to be a good and bad coded within people. I don't think that everything is socially constructed.
even on the even okay, you're on the biological level, and that's true. But even on like a
Yeah.
societal level, we know not to steal.
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean, we know not to. I like my car out there.
Yeah.
Don't steal
We
it.
we know I mean
Don't steal
It's
it.
not because somebody's telling me you don't like when. It's not because society's telling me I don't like when my thing's stolen. It's just because I don't like my thing stolen.
I think the argument of a basis moral code
Mhm.
is an argument of we're not instinctually driven because stealing, right? Goes for our instincts, right?
Yeah.
The more we can get, we can get, we can hoard, we can
right,
hoard, we can
exactly.
hoard.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
stealing would help our instinct, but we know to go against it. That's what's and it's not like
Yeah,
oh,
because
it's the United
that
States.
would be what's known as the flesh
Yeah,
desire.
and the thing is
Right.
not like oh, it's like here the argument oh, it's only certain culture like all cultures. It's interesting how all cultures have put something down. We don't steal, don't cheat. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Don't
Don't
cheat.
yeah.
Lying applying pretty much
Yeah.
everywhere. People don't.
The Ten Commandments.
This isn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This isn't because somebody's like you're growing up by saying. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't told to not steal because, yeah, that's true. There
Move
are
your clip
instinctual. Now, saying that there's no instinctual drive to do things is false. That's untrue. But I do believe that saying that we're completely driven by instinctual desires is false. I think
Yeah,
saying
that's definitely false.
now
Here.
some things, yes.
Mhm.
Like somebody wanting to steal when they're a baby, maybe they don't know that stealing is always, or
You're right. You're right. That's because they
Yeah.
don't know that
Yeah.
it's bad, right? Because they're just a
But if
child.
they get something stolen from them, it's not because society told them it's bad. It's
No.
because you're encoded with things from the very start,
Hmm.
and
Right,
I just think that might be overlooked. But
for sure.
I think.
So what else? What
I
else
was
do
about to
y'all
say that, I was
have?
like, how did we get here?
yeah, that was a very.
So,
that
How
was
did we get here? It's like
I
that
think
one
it's fun to
achievement.
talk about.
let's see.
That was a lot to talk about just from
Yeah,
the
and
verse 13.
Hey, that's what
Oh.
we're here for.
Aha. Okay, I was probably if you go back on the audio, I was trying.
Here's where I
You're gonna
highlighted
go
in
24, aren't you?
chapter 16. Yeah, I highlighted
Yeah.
verses 24 through 28, and these are what they say. Then Jesus said to the disciples, "Oh my goodness, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done. Truly I tell you, some who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom."
So, you know,
One of the reasons I kind of had this here stood out is, I mean, looking at verse 27, because it says, and then he will reward each person according to what they have
Yep.
done. Some people think, oh, you're going to get a higher reward, here for doing such and such, or you're going to get a lower reward
do
for
you
doing
mean
this.
by earthly
This
things?
is
Isn't it
just.
That's what some
isn't
people.
that the,
That's
isn't
what
that
some people
the-
think.
Now I might be getting this wrong. I don't
It's
know as
ju-
much.
this is-
Isn't this the crowns? The spirit?
No,
It's not.
no. Well,
Okay.
yes,
Is it?
yes, but that's not what Matt. Yes, it's talking about that. But
No,
in
yeah,
terms
that's what I'm talking about here in the.
No,
in the script.
Nathan's
Yeah.
right about
Yeah,
that.
Okay,
What
yeah.
Matt
You're
was
good.
saying, he wasn't addressing that. And I'm saying this almost as a humorous thing. This
Oh, goodness.
episode is going it's just anti.
It's just phenomenal.
No, but what is it? Anti prosperity gospel episode. I mean, really, to title it that one.
I'll just it'll be Matthew chapter 16 and 17 and why the prosperity gospel is false.
I mean, we're getting,
Try not to
everything
laugh.
we
That's
talked about
essentially
has
what it's turned
addressed why
into.
that's wrong.
You know what's funny about these couple right here. And I'm actually glad that we spoke about the quote unquote like perfect life. This is what it is. From 24 to 28, this is what it is.
Right.
This is the almost call to action to say like if
You're
you
right,
do-
it is a call to
excuse
action,
me,
yeah.
Excuse me. It
Oh,
is a
you're
call
good.
to action. Excuse me.
Right.
It is a call to action showing the perfect life is doing this.
Well,
It
and
is.
here's,
It,
and
it,
here's the
it,
thing. I
Right,
think this is.
right.
I think this is put in such a way where
it's very easy.
it's kind of the opposite of like back to the prosperity gospel, whatever. We're giving up material. When it's saying you give up life.
We're just constantly nailing how bad the
you gotta do.
Well,
you
it's
gotta
true
do
though.
it.
Like the prosperity gospel has affected so many people in
Just
such
right
negative
here.
ways.
But I think it's talking about banking off that, Matt. The idea is like the cars, not even like okay, everyone
Yeah,
wants to
you're
talk
gonna
about
speak
everyone
up.
wants to talk about like the physical things, but I'm talking about like or giving up things. Yeah, I mean really it is a
Why
physical
did
thing.
somebody not? Why did somebody pass away? Why did I?
Why
get
did such
why
and
did I
such get
fired?
cancer?
Yeah,
Why am
but
I
I-
sick?
Why'd I get fired from my
Yeah,
job?
yeah,
Why'd you get fired?
I
Like, it's
agree
just-
there, but I think more addressing this. I think it's we're looking. I think he's asking us to reverse our priorities. So if
Yep.
we have
Right,
here is-
exactly. He is.
Can the camera see me? Here's the
Yeah, you're good.
cars, money, all the like stuff in our world, and it changes,
Mhm.
but it's typically the same. All the like status symbols, and here's
Right.
our relationship and voluntary. Oh, it's tough to put it like that. I mean, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
The
It needs to
voluntary,
reverse,
like the
basically.
voluntary suffering.
Right.
But once, like, if we flip it, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Like,
No, not at all.
I don't think no one's ever done it. Like, the best people that have even gotten
There's only
close
one.
on a human manner are, like,
Yeah, that's what I was
these
about
are
to
the
say, there's only-
famous people.
Still, yeah, still, because it's
And
kind of
they
far
still,
off,
and
because
they
we are
still, and
human.
they're still measuring up to it. But
Right.
when you see that flip, this is where you gain life. Not life in terms of your heartbeat or breathing, but you're gaining
Yeah,
this.
not life in terms of like
And I
material
want to make
things,
that
like he said.
extremely clear, because I think,
One thing is you're
but I think it's
defending yourself right here.
you're getting the most fulfilled life and also eternal life. I think this is also what he's speaking
Yeah.
to as well. Because I mean, you can get. I
Right.
mean, if you don't give up your stuff, you don't give up. I mean, listen, if you have, you got your money, you got your.
We're not telling to sell everything. I'm just making sure that's
Sure,
clear.
we're also
We're not
telling you
we're
to
not
avoid
telling y'all to
computer.
just sell everything and you're allowed to have money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not saying
Like,
In terms,
you need money to provide for your family, to provide for other people,
well, I think in terms of
to provide for
you
yourself
got
as
your
well.
money, you got your cars, you got your. I mean, everyone. I mean, but I'm
Clothing,
talking about
yeah.
like you are worshiping these things.
I say anything
Mhm.
that gets in,
Why?
I think it's fine as long as it doesn't stray the line where it's currently affecting your relationship with God. That is where I think the confusion comes from, where people.
Not the worshiping part though, about the
Oh
material.
yeah, well that's a different
Okay,
thing.
I'm
I
just
think
making
what
sure that's
people will
clarified for
say
everybody at
is
home.
like, oh, Christians, they're just so restricted. They can't do anything. They can't own anything. They can't buy anything.
Yeah, that's
Not
definitely one of the
That's just
excuses.
not
Yeah.
true. That's not true. Um, I think like you said, you can have money. You can have things like that is real. But
My college.
as long as it's not, I think as long as it's not interfering with your connection with God, and I mean truly, I don't just mean I'm not just throwing that out.
Right.
I think that's where the line is drawn. Where it's like, yeah, that is good. I feel like um, somebody close to God, if they have money, they can go buy a nice car.
But
Like
I
that,
think where it can
it's
get
just as when it becomes an idol.
Exactly.
That's where it breaks the
That's
line.
where it gets
yeah,
bad.
and where I
Yeah.
think you're talking. I want to say, and having things, I'm like my college bookstore receipt would say otherwise. But I'm talking about.
Oh
But in
no.
talking about, you don't want to you don't want to look at money. You don't want to look at your things. You don't want to look at so gloriously to the point where you get satisfied with what's here. Like you don't want to get
Mhm.
so satisfied to the point where you think this
This is
it
it.
can't get any better than this.
It's like I can't go no better than this.
Shoot, heaven's you start thinking heaven's worse. Like and you're so on top. And I know I don't think anybody's ever gonna say it's worse, but I think people are looking at it and thinking it's so good here
No,
that
there are people that will
they're
say it's
settled
worse.
here. They like it here
No,
so badly.
they'll
They
say
have no incentive to push a relationship. Why? Because
I
your money.
guarantee you there are a good amount of people that probably will say heaven's worse. And
But I'm talking
Mhm.
about. I'm
because
saying,
it's no sin.
no, but I'm telling.
And
I think
although
even
there are good things they might
Christians. I
say,
think even
maybe
Christians.
their life is just completely their whole satisfaction.
Yeah,
is
and they
completely built
they'll
off
also think that we're just gonna be sitting there playing harps, sitting on clouds and everything.
Well,
So
I'm
that's
not
what a
sure.
lot of them think.
That seems-
It's
Hey,
which is
somebody
not
who
what
just
we're
like
gonna
did
do.
all their finals. That sounds pretty good to me. That
Well,
sounds pretty cool.
I just hope.
That sounds pretty cool to me.
Man, this made me play the guitar.
Are we
Bass is
gonna?
better, but whatever.
Well, yeah, my guitar.
Maybe
Yeah.
we're gonna get on the argument with God's favorite. What's the
What's his
what's
favorite
his favorite
instrument?
instrument?
I know what Saul's is. The lyre.
You are.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Ring is like a harp
You
of
said
some kind.
Saul?
Yeah, Saul, as in King Saul. Yeah,
And well,
because
Saul
that's
doesn't
what
really-
David
Saul
used to.
doesn't really like. Saul doesn't really like the harp either. Because David.
Well, but
David's
okay,
only been
it was
killed
good for
once.
him because the tormenting spirit came off of him whenever David would
Yeah.
play the
David
lyre.
didn't really like that, or not. Yeah, David didn't really like playing the harp. Probably. Just saying.
Well, that's just speculation because it doesn't say anything about
No,
it.
but I mean, I just think he didn't like getting spears thrown. at him. Heavy speculation, but
So what do y'all have highlighted from chapter 17? I got a few
Okay,
things
yeah,
here
it's about probably
that I've
time to
highlighted.
start
You want to go ahead, Nathan?
moving along.
I think it's your turn.
17. You've put me on. Okay, good. I was gonna
I got starting from verse 11.
actually, Matt, if you have something like really from that beginning, why don't you start us off?
I don't have anything from the beginning
No, but I'm
here,
talking about
but
like
Yeah, it doesn't
from
matter.
there to there. Because
oh
I
yeah,
really want to go over just like the basis of the story. I want to go on that. I
I
think
am
you have
yeah.
something that doesn't just go
But
on the
yeah,
basis.
I have verse
okay.
11 and
I have
12.
18, 20, and
Nice. So verse 11 starts with Jesus replied, "To be sure, Elijah comes and will restore all things." Now, prior to this verse, the disciples asked him, why then do the teachers of the law say that Elijah must come first?
Which makes
Because they obviously don't believe that Christ was a Messiah. So then he, replies saying that, and then he says, "But I tell you, Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but have done to him everything they wished. In the same way that the Son of Man is going to suffer at their hands."
what did you have on that? Let's get the ball.
What did I get from that? Because during the times of Elijah, if y'all have never read the book of what was it, First Kings or something like that, I think. Elijah was one of the many prophets of the Lord. I say many, but
But Elijah's like the one of the most
yeah, he's one of the most prominent. Yeah,
exactly.
he's one of the most well
I think
known
he's
for
the one
sure.
who
Um,
he's one of the ones that has never died before, right? Yeah.
yep, right, because he was brought up into heaven from an
Which
angel.
that's
He never actually died, which is kind of funny.
which that goes into Revelation. That ties actually Elijah plays a little bit. But I'm
you're gonna spoil an episode.
he's like, I'm gonna shut up and let him talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
just
just
rambling.
messing with you. But yeah, they're talking because Elijah came and he rebuked the King Ahab of Israel, and he's like, you bring this false idol Baal, here from Jezebel's home to worship it, and you don't listen to the commands of the Lord.
Yeah.
And why be the king?
And because of that, Elijah's like, okay, you know, it's not gonna. There's gonna be a drought until, I say otherwise. You know, because he has not decided to follow the Lord. So then that happens for about I think what 3 years. There's a drought, I
Yeah.
think. And fast forward, Elijah challenges King Ahab. He's like, come up on the mountain, with all the 450 prophets of Baal, and in kind of like a challenge against God. And they did just that, where the 450 prophets of Baal, kept doing all their, stuff, trying to get Baal to come down. But guess what? He never did. And when Elijah humbly presented himself before the Lord, that's when God came down and burned up the
Yep.
sacrifice.
And
Even after it had been drenched in water like four
well,
times.
one of the this is so off topic. Whatever. One of the
You're
best
good.
things about that though is I think Elijah gives us some A grade trash talk. Get-
Some trash talk that we
yeah,
what yeah
he's gonna
he
be.
he openly mocked the prophets of Baal. He's like, pray louder. Surely Baal is a god. You know, he may be traveling somewhere. This reminds me of that Superbook episode.
Do you think Elijah
Using the
do you
toilet.
think Elijah would be good on Twitter?
Oh
That'd be
gosh.
hilarious.
How did Twitter make an appearance on the show?
or maybe he's asleep and you have to wake him up.
He was going off.
It was a really good episode to watch from there. Yeah.
But
If
let's see.
if you don't have anything, I got some.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so I actually got from 17 to 20. So
Okay.
and I'll read it right now. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Jesus replied, "How long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of his body, and he was healed at the moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, "Why couldn't we drive it out?" He replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say this to the mountain, move from here to there, and it will move from you. Nothing will be impossible." Now, I think with this one thing, and um, I think what this is emphasizing, I mean, where's their faith, right? I think that's
Right.
immediately.
They just didn't believe that they would be able to do
No,
it.
and
Right.
it's him kind of calling out like you guys don't have anything. Like you guys have no
It's like
faith.
you
There's no
guys
belief.
had no faith in me in this
What?
moment, to work this through you,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I just think it's interesting because it's such a um just the imagery of it. Something they were not really expecting. They oh I'm scrambled brain. Excuse me.
Doing a
You're
big
Yeah,
good.
it's because I accidentally hit a thing and now my whole thing is messed up.
Yeah, yeah, for you folks at home, if we seem very tired,
It's
it's because
because
we
we
are.
are. And
It's because not even, what was it, a few hours ago we got done with doing over 3 hours of playing basketball over at their campus.
tired.
And yeah, it was very tiring.
I could like
I pulled it back up. So yeah, it's just not like dramatic. Like it's not pulling out hours out of this thing, but it's just him showing you like you know belief. Just having the smallest bit of belief. I mean, he even says it in the smallest mustard seed. Even just that is more than enough to do more than what you're capable of.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
not, it's not actually saying. I just at least I don't think he's saying like actually you're gonna be able to move a mountain, but it's saying you can do a whole lot more than what you think you can.
well
You are holding yourself back.
You're shaking the table a good bit, by the
You
way.
can do.
well Jesus is very
It's.
I mean, I mean, yeah, if you want to, you can just kind of go like this,
Oh, I'm
you
just
know.
leaning on it. So yeah,
Okay, you can.
I'll try to not. But yeah, it's just yeah. I've pretty much said everything. And
well what
you go.
this is
Okay.
kind of rhetorical what I'm about to say here.
Yep.
So I'm not really expecting an answer out of this.
I will
but
probably give you one on accident.
what makes me what's something that I wonder about this situation is that they were around Jesus, right? They're around him. They saw these are his
Right.
disciples.
Yeah.
All right. This is coming to the end of Matthew, so we're past. We're years.
Yeah,
into
we're
this.
past the halfway point of this
Yeah,
book currently. There's like I
and,
think
and looking
24 or
at the timeline,
28.
we're getting
Yeah, 28 chapters. So we're past the halfway point.
we're far enough to the point where, um, like they've known Jesus for a while now, a year
Right.
plus, and the one thing I wonder is after seeing all these things, why are they? What was their quote unquote faith actually rooted in that they couldn't get this job done? Okay,
Mhm.
because before this,
Exactly.
they're asking why. Well, I mean, if they're asking why, they probably thought they were already in this. They probably thought they were already in this faction of faith. They thought that they already had faith. But
Right.
after Jesus dispels them of what they were thinking, it makes me wonder what if they. And this is rhetorical. I'm not expecting you guys to pull this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what
You're
if
good.
they have their faith in beforehand, especially that they saw these things.
That's an
I
interesting
just,
question.
I just like
Yeah.
what. So what were they? I mean, I guess. Well, I guess they were faith by seeing.
Faith by sight.
A lot of seeing,
Yep.
but
I mean, because after kind of jumping ahead a little bit, after doubting Thomas, saw that it was Christ Jesus after he had risen from the dead, he's like, you have believed because you have seen. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet still believe.
yeah.
Right.
And to me, it's just like,
It's not again. I just want to say
You're
it's
good.
not abnormal.
this was.
No, it's not
Especially,
abnormal to do
he's,
that. Yeah.
Son of God. It's not. It's not in that. It's not. It's probably not super abnormal to not have
Experience doubt.
not have
Yeah.
a full belief in it. But I think right here is him demonstrating what he can do. Him saying, okay, you didn't believe, but him showing you right here. This is what belief can do. So,
Right.
This is him. You wanted if you're if you're trying to say okay, faith by sight. This is what it was. This is
Mhm.
exactly what it was. Just an illustration to show all of this. So that's.
Well, it
I think that's
shows
just a really
a
good display of it.
I think that was very well
I think
put.
that's
That was
just a
good.
really good
That was good.
display of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact
Right.
is, it just shows a fundamental.
Of course, my opinion doesn't matter on the subject. It just matters what this says.
Oh yeah.
True. I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait.
I was talking about me because I was like, yeah, you did a really good job.
I think the fundamental.
Are you yawning?
Yes. I'm like.
Oh,
holding it
sleepy
right now.
head.
The fundamental. I'll see if I can get the sense out before I do it. The fundamental. There's a fundamental unbelief in this entire situation.
Right.
Sorry, I had to took me
You
way
said
too many.
misunderstanding?
What?
You said a fundamental.
No, fundamental
Oh, fundamental
beliefs in all
belief.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, there you go.
Sleepy.
I had to rush that.
Oh,
out.
sleepyhead.
I
I'm
had to
just kidding.
rush that sentence out 'cause I got
I know. Because you were trying so hard just to not yawn. That's because somebody hadn't had his coffee.
I had one,
So-
but I need my second one.
I don't know if the podcast, like, I don't know if the listeners know this. We don't. You don't. Yeah.
No. I mean, I will say, I did have caffeine yesterday, but it was
What was it from?
I know that the tea had 48 grams of sugar,
Okay.
and I drank 2 of them,
What's that?
but I don't think it had that much caffeine.
Does-
What type of tea was
I don't
it?
drink tea.
It was the so you know how there's these Gold Peak tea bottles of sweet tea.
Oh,
That's I drank 2 of those
sweet
yesterday while I was
tea.
watching
Sweet tea has
baseball.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't drink sweet tea. Yeah, I'm a Southerner. I don't like tea.
I guess is
I don't
the
really like
I
sweet
guess
tea.
is the sugar
I'm
that
from
gives it.
Georgia. I've had I don't love sweet tea. It's just not very good to me. But like,
It's for some people and it's
the
for
aftertaste
others,
is
or
weird.
not for others. Excuse
Just
me.
a weird aftertaste.
Bojangles.
But no,
Oh my
theirs is
gosh.
fine. But like,
Bojangles tea is just the
Okay,
worst.
actually, I lied.
Yes.
I lied.
but this thing, I've never had it, but I don't think it has caffeine.
Actually, I lied.
No, it may have just a little bit of
15
caffeine,
milligrams.
but
15.
15
okay.
milligrams from for how much? Oh, just how
The
much tea?
entire thing
This
per
is
serving.
for 18 like ounces, so this is just like. a
Okay, so yeah, that was
That's
about what I
about-
was drinking
that's like-
per
If you're talking
bottle.
about a
So yeah,
full,
that's
like,
not bad at
normal
all.
Cup, that's gonna be about 3 cups.
No, so you know the
18
Yeah.
bottles,
milligram-
the bottles they sell in like Marshalls. This is the only place I can think where they sell these.
Marshalls?
Marshall?
Yeah, Marshalls has them.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I'm
beyond me,
clueless
man. I don't know
whenever it
what
comes to
you're
this
I love
Marshall's
But here's
place.
the thing. That's
Are you talking about the gas station?
Marshalls.
Nah, Marshalls again.
Marshalls is
Marshalls is the
TJ
clothes
Maxx.
store.
You know TJ Maxx?
Oh,
They're the same thing.
I love
They're owned.
Marshalls.
bro, I don't go to TJ
Wait,
Maxx.
okay, Marshalls is a subsidiary of TJ Maxx.
They're the same thing. If you've been in a TJ Maxx, you've been in a
But
Marshalls.
what I'm
Yes, I've been to
what
TJ
I'm
Maxx.
saying
Yes,
is
yes.
that's
I just don't go there
that's
very
not
often.
a lot of caffeine. What I drink about a day
Right.
is nearing about 150 milligrams. Yeah.
God.
That's actually that's not too
Bro.
much. Now I try to stay away from it completely. You and I don't. He can sometimes. You'll. I think one time he hit 3.
I hit 3 the
Yeah.
day before my last
On the
day.
on the finals he drank 2 in the span of an hour.
Yeah, I was falling asleep, dude.
He drank. So he was upwards of like.
Bro,
300.
Hey, I got an
I don't need coffee to
I don't
stay
either.
up.
I'm just-
95
I'm just
on my final
always
because
tired.
of that. I got 95 on my final, and it was for environmental studies, and I wrote
Yeah.
the economic policy paper, and I wrote
Right.
this final that
Because
was
you procrastinated.
15 pages.
Was that the one
long.
you procrastinated with?
Yes,
15
I
pages?
that one.
15 pages for a final?
Matt, I had a month to do it.
Bro.
You should see. No, my end.
Bro, that could have taken you 2 days.
I had other finals to worry
Like-
about.
My end of the year assignment.
You could have done half of it one day, half of it the other.
For my end of the year assignment for world history. It ended up being about 30 pages and 7,000
7,000
It was like 8. No, I think it went up to 8.
See, these are so folks at home. These are the kind of conversations that we have, and I just wish that we were recording. And finally, we're having one on camera.
It ended up being around like 8,000 words, and it had to be super specific about documents, and it was just the worst
Oh
thing
my
ever. It was
gosh.
so bad, and all for that, from to not even look at it. I think he just gave.
Yeah,
it.
it's like what?
Well, one of the
like,
one
that's
of the
crazy.
biggest-
No, but I got 100 on it, which is cool. But it ended up only being like 10% my grade, so it did nothing.
Oh,
one
there
of
you
the
go.
biggest
Nothing.
classes I studied because I'm a finance econ major. So
Oh,
this was the big
When when you're done talking about that, I have a
Let's just
couple
get
other
to
things.
that.
Right.
You want to get okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah,
we
'cause
talked-
we
went
don't- we
from
don't wanna
tea-
get too
went
off
from tea to
topic.
Politics, real fast.
Oh, I didn't talk.
Yeah, we went to all kinds of
not
things.
politics, business.
Welcome to the Hooked on Jesus podcast, where we go off into rabbit
Oh,
holes.
yeah, I
It's-
know,
it's gonna happen
restart,
probably again.
actually, restart everything.
It's gonna
Okay.
happen.
So the last thing that I have highlighted is verse 22 in chapter 17, where it says, "When they came together in Galilee, he said to them, 'The Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men.'" So this is the second time that he's predicting
Yeah.
his death. "They will kill him, and on the third day he will be raised to life." And the disciples were filled with grief.
Well,
Because he is perfect,
Yep.
he obviously got the prediction correct. all the times that he predicted his own death.
He,
You know,
you could put a bet on
I
it.
just kind of find that weird. It says and the disciples were filled with grief.
I was on that too.
Did I
Yeah.
interrupt you?
No, I was.
Oh, okay.
That's it,
So,
content.
and the quote is, "They will kill him, and on the third day he will be raised." Maybe this was a
I
stretch.
know why
Do
they're
you
filled
think
with
they
grief.
say that? Do you think they were filled with grief because they didn't believe, or do you think that's maybe a
Well,
stretch?
I don't think they were-
well, you gotta remember, because back in chapter 16, where um it was the first time that he predicted his death. I'll start from verse 21. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many
Oh,
things at the hands of the elders,
No, like I don't.
the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the third day be raised to life. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Never, Lord, he said. This shall never happen to
Yep.
you. And then Jesus says this: Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns.
Yeah, and I look at that. I'm not looking.
they fear. So I'm
I don't think
thinking
it's that they didn't
disciples
believe
fear.
it.
They fear. They don't understand what
They're
they don't
not.
they don't understand the gravity of it, and I feel like death is
Right,
Go
death
ahead.
is
exactly,
the
and they
absolute.
weren't
So for the human
they weren't
mind,
gonna get a grasp at it until after
death for
it
for
happened.
for humans, death is the absolute end. It is zero. You are done. Uh,
It's just a change of address.
yeah,
Is what I like
yeah.
to say.
But at this time, at this time,
Properties.
Ah.
nobody's come back from the dead. Nobody's done that. And maybe it wasn't right to say
Was
that they were.
Lazarus yet? I don't think Lazarus.
No,
Maybe I
I
should have
don't.
said they
At this
didn't
at this
have
point, I don't
belief.
think
Maybe
so.
that was.
No.
I maybe worded that wrong. I shouldn't say that they didn't have belief. Um,
They sure haven't seen it yet.
yeah, I think they don't truly understand the gravity of it. So when they say
Right.
he's going to suffer and he's going to die, that's what they're focusing on. That's what they're
Right.
focusing on.
But here's the thing. You have a situation where I like how you put that there's a lot more gravity, but on the other hand, or not on the other hand,
Uh-oh.
in addition to that,
Bottle cap's trying to escape. Sorry.
in addition to that, one of the biggest one of the biggest things with this is that you have you have this group that has not seen anything like this, right?
No.
And I know you were getting on this. They haven't seen anything like this, and also they're wanting to defend from this from happening big time.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah, I
time.
mean, we can kind of fast forward and remember and look at the events of whenever Peter cut off the ear of one of the guards
I always
because he didn't want the arrest to
I
happen.
always look at that
He didn't understand,
as
just like he
maybe
said.
I'm wrong about this, but I've always looked at that part of the story as a metaphor or a comparison to real life when we are like challenged, like especially when you.
I think it was something that happened that
Well,
he
I'm
actually
talking
cut
about
off somebody's
like,
ear.
you know, like when
Yeah,
someone
he's saying-
challenges
yeah.
our.
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah. You're good. You're good.
challenges-
I misunderstood
No,
that.
but
That was
you
on
know
me.
when someone challenges our religion, I think that's a metaphor for like don't cut, like don't like cut people, like not actually,
Yeah.
but like don't
Well,
like
I mean,
Yeah, don't cut up people.
don't
That's-
cut off people, like don't
Right.
be hateful towards them. Like it's our job, and I think that's a metaphor. And I mean, would you say you agree there? Because that one I know it could be a dual message, but
from how I kind of think about it,
It would probably take me some time to process it.
so
Because
Dial up.
So you're saying-
me being an introvert, it takes me a bit to process
So
things
you're saying
personally.
like when he cut off his ear, as you said, like that was his way to kind of not try to stop what's going to happen, right?
Right, exactly.
I immediately go to think like that's also kind of showing as a message like don't challenge this, or no, maybe not don't challenge it, but you can't.
well, no,
you're not
you
going.
can't. But also, don't. You were
You
right
can't,
about
You're
that.
not going to.
You were right about that. You can't really challenge it because I mean it's the same thing. Was it Peter? I'm so tired. Was it Peter who said it first that he didn't want it to happen?
Yeah,
Okay, so
It's right here
Peter,
in
my
verse
phone turned off, and
22
I'm, like really tired. So
of
Peter
chapter 16.
Phone back
said
on.
it. No, it turned off.
Yeah,
My
it's
phone.
phone turned off.
Yeah, it turned off. Peter said it. And the level of offense that was shown by Jesus.
Yeah,
Remarkable.
Christ was like, "Get behind me, Satan."
that's
He
not-
didn't say "Get behind me, Simon." He didn't say "Get behind me, Peter." He said, "Get behind me,
And the
Satan."
problem is that that expression, that phrase, is not used at all for the rest of the time being. So
Right,
it shows
exactly.
how high
how much higher of an understanding that it is for
And
Christ than it is for us to
most
understand.
like all of
Right.
us, they didn't understand
Right.
it. I mean, it's the same thing. I was gonna connect it to like something we said like 45 minutes ago, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to communicate it well, so I'm just gonna keep it there.
You're good.
I think the wires are gonna get crossed up there.
Oh, are they?
Yes, they will. The wires are already crossed. But you
I
can't
kind of I
grab
really
not
do
this thing.
like the comparison to comparing like the human mindset to Satan and just as a comparison. Kind of just um kind of um oh, I'm trying to think of the word, insinuating
Yeah.
that Satan is just the amalgamation of just like what is the human mindset. I mean, yeah.
That's an interesting word,
Did I use that
amalgamation. Let's go
right?
ahead and put that
I
one
feel like I didn't
right.
use that right.
Let's put that one right here on the
I'm
screen.
I'm looking this up because I might be thinking of a different word.
That's how it's happening.
Amalgamation
The result
is
of
like the
combining
w-
or uniting.
is
Like I knew what it
Yeah.
meant, but it
yeah.
was just
Amalgamation
I
is
couldn't
like
think
the
of another
word to
word for it.
describe
So
something
I
that's
think the
yeah.
kind of the thing is like Satan is just the amalgamation of what the human mindset actually is.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah, what evil is yet
completely
to. Yeah.
flawed. And that's why he looks and says, "Get behind me, Satan," because he's not like comparing him to literally like you are Satan, you're just as bad.
Yeah,
He's
no,
saying,
he's not telling him he's
yeah,
Satan.
yeah. I mean, I get
Right.
that's clear, but
Right.
it's saying like
his desires.
he's saying like
in the
you.
same realm.
It's simple.
Make sure
it's
you're
it's
facing the
very
microphone, Andrew.
it's very it's not only is it simple. I mean, not simple. Excuse me. Not only is it simple, it's also just incorrect. It's him thinking he's higher than what he is, but he doesn't have the understanding, and him comparing him to Satan is just like, yeah,
If the mic didn't hear this already,
I didn't. I didn't know I
Yeah,
did.
his thought
because Andrew, for those of you who are just listening, he was off to the side of the microphone like this,
I was-
and y'all
'cause
couldn't
I was
Even
hear
I
him
couldn't
correctly,
hear him. So
and
like,
unless he was, kind of
what
right
did you
here in front of
say?
it.
I was saying, now I got pressure.
Uh,
What I'm saying
Uh,
was the thoughts that, not thoughts, the ideals that Peter, or yeah, what Peter had.
we're reflecting what Satan's desires were.
Exactly, they're in the same realm. Thank you, Matt, picking me up. they're.
I
thing-
took the words right out your
what's
mouth.
craziest, like,
Yeah.
hopefully the viewers don't know that there have been times I have like really had to pull through a sentence. Like I'll be
You'll
like
have to
losing
think about
track,
it.
and I'm like, oh, there we go.
especially when you took foreign language.
What?
Oh my
Especially
god.
because you'll try to pull through a sentence, but then you would like get confused because then you would be trying to like
Oh,
get the correct words in a sentence.
You like met
You would
you
mix
you
them up,
mess
they
up
got
you
really
mess up
tight.
and then like you get stuck and you're like
talking about tenses. When you're talking about tenses
Oh, I thought you said taxes.
in other languages,
yeah he
some
said
words you have
said
to,
tenses
the
right
way the
Said
structure
tenses.
when you're talking
yeah
about other
yeah
languages,
I was just making
you're
sure
learning them. The way it's taught is like, okay, you have your word, you have your noun, and then your adjective. Your verb needs to be a base verb, and then this needs.
We
And
went
the way I
from
was
Satan
talking,
to a base verb.
and then so while I was talking, I couldn't just talk normal. I was thinking like, oh, what, I was like literally overthinking I was so tired. I was like overthinking everywhere. I was like, oh, what word needs to be a progressive noun? Is this past perfect or is this past simple? Yeah, lose my mind. But
yeah his mind was blown.
yeah, the
When you're
Cue the
tired and
explosion.
you're working a shift at Bojangles, sometimes it's just really hard to get some sentences out. Even for me, I took a foreign language. I didn't do it as far as.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm kind of glad I got fired.
Oh, the show knows
get
that.
that one on the record.
Yeah,
Show
it
is
was.
aware.
Get that bad boy on the record.
Eat that Bojangles, like in your face.
I mean, it's
like
not that I
Mrs.
was trying. I literally was trying my hardest to do what I was told to
You
do
were already on the
while
verge.
working there.
Yeah.
It's just me showing up. My neglect to show up sometimes or whatever is what caught up to me.
Because you called out.
Yeah, that's because I
And
called
then
out
they
too many
did it over
times.
text. Like that was just so lame.
Yeah, that
Dalton
was
did
just
it.
rude.
Dalton
Like
Georgia did it, bro.
Did
I
they
remember
actually?
my dad. My dad said something. He's like, "We'll find out what kind of person your boss is, whether or not he decides to call you in and tell you that you're fired, or call you over the phone or text you."
Yeah.
And yeah, I was texted, hey, unfortunately,
text
we're
is
gonna
the
have to
worst
let you
option.
go and all this stuff.
Calling is maybe. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. Texting is by far the worst because
That's just I'm
that's
just like,
so
come on,
bad.
man.
Especially
Like,
since you were there
really?
for like 8 months.
It's like just call me in and tell me that I'm fired to my face. I can take it.
You know.
He'll throw hands. It's
But
Throw in.
do you guys have anything else that you want
I
to talk
don't.
about?
Not really. I mean, is there any topic that you would like to bring up that's related to all this?
Say you gotta give a. You better make sure it's related to this.
Yeah, that's yeah, because we with how tired we are, we've been kind of going off the rails just a little bit, you know.
There's not really much. I feel like I really covered everything I wanted to based on
Mhm.
just based on everything we've read.
Oh, hang on, there was something that stood out to me.
That is cool. Just
What?
like the kind of themes.
Oh,
That's
Oh
neat.
wow.
like that?
I've
Yeah,
really
it's
yelled in the
yeah.
mic today.
This so for you folks at home. So if you're new here, this is actually the first time I'm using this specific New International Version Bible. I'll go ahead and zoom in. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Dad.
I could not get away from that one.
My voice cracked a lot.
But yeah, it is a camouflage version of the New International version of the Bible, and I like it a lot, and I feel like it kind of fits in with the theme around here because, you know, it's outdoors. You know, the logo has got the largemouth bass.
I was like, are we getting
We got a wood
killed?
duck
And I
sitting
was
up
like, are we
here.
getting
You know,
killed? Is that the theme?
Huh?
I was like, are we getting killed? Is that the theme? You're like, it fits the theme. I was like,
What?
wait, killing. Am I getting killed?
no,
That was not the theme.
Okay.
fishing does not always entail eating.
Well, that's not a fishing Bible. That's like a hunting
That's a
Bible.
hunting Bible.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't. It's
So that's
out.
why I was
It's
like,
an outdoorsman
that's why I
Bible.
was like, am I
What
gonna
if you just like hiking, man? What if
Yeah.
you just like
Bingo.
walking?
Bingo.
Yeah, come on now.
Also, we have animals for eating. So I mean,
True, we do.
so
Exactly.
But
I mean, that's how I get chicken nuggets, and that's how
lots
y'all
of
get other
chicken
food on
nuggets,
the table.
lots of Supremes.
yeah, a lot of
and-
chicken.
Yeah, oh,
nuggets
dude,
specifically.
that was one thing I loved was the Supremes. Like they were spicy enough to be actually spicy, but you know not.
Sponsor
And
us.
the thing is that we get
No,
so our
don't you
sponsor
dare
today,
sponsor us,
guys,
Bojangles.
uh,
Not
no,
happening.
I think they're good. I just think they get dried out too fast, or too quickly.
Well, I mean, you also-
You have to eat them right, like
You got-
only
you
like a
just-
couple
you
minutes
just
after
make
them
your
coming
own,
up.
which was super smart.
But you
We
don't
did
like
it.
Zaxby's for that same reason.
No,
Zaxby's
the
always
reason
crowded.
I don't like Zaxby's is because they use styrofoam boxes, kind of like what my little cooler, I guess, kind of thing is made of, where I store all this audio equipment. And because of that, there's no like any holes in it for air to come in. So all the chicken just ends up soaking sopping wet from condensation, and I'm like,
That's
what the heck is this? So that's why like if I go to Zaxby's, it's gonna be because I'm right there in the car with everybody else, and I'm almost immediately gonna get my food.
Okay, but you got mint though, which is good.
It's decent. yeah.
Decent,
It's,
no,
it's not the
that's better
best,
than
but
I
it's
thought.
definitely not the
Okay.
worst. I'd say it's probably middle of
What's top
the
tier? What is
playing
like
I
field
think it's
kind of
better
thing.
than Chick-fil-A.
Like on the 50-yard
Like,
line,
what's a
kind
top
of.
tier? Oh, Chick-fil-A.
No, Zaxby's.
No, no,
Zaxby's
no,
is
no.
better
You don't
than
like
Chick-fil-A.
They do not give me enough chicken nuggets for the price that you
Oh,
pay.
they're expensive.
okay,
Oh my gosh.
fine.
Yeah, their biscuits are like $6.
We have Chick-fil-A.
They're good though.
They are so
They're good
good.
though.
I'm not paying
They're
for
really
all
good.
of them.
Nathan,
Okay,
we have Chick-fil-A.
y'all have never okay.
What? Dining Hall has Chick-fil-A.
For those of
we never
you
did
for
it
those of
here.
you who live in San Antonio, Texas, they're well, not directly in the city, but outside of the city of San Antonio, Texas, there's a restaurant called Bill Miller Barbecue where they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they had the absolute best biscuits I have ever had. And they're really big, but they're stupid good.
No,
I think they went to
Like
Bojangles.
by far the best biscuits I've ever had, and I miss them so
I'm
bad.
actually disappointed in myself. That
We have not mentioned Huey Magoo's.
Huey,
I was
Ma-
just getting,
Oh.
so Huey Magoo's is one of the. Thank you. I'm like getting.
It is so good.
So outside of campus,
Face the microphone.
outside, oh wow, I'm at 3%. So outside of campus, we have like the fast food places, as you know. One of the spots that we have is Huey Magoo's, and
I've
You
never
gotta
had it,
have-
and
oh my
the only time I've heard of it is whenever y'all have
What's
brought
the
it up.
place
Really?
that has the chicken where it's only good for the sauce? What is it called?
Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's.
But
Dude, Raising Cane's is so good.
and
It's
Huey
so good.
Magoo's kind of taste the
They're
same.
the same exact thing. If you don't like the sauce, you're kind of out of luck.
The sauce
Huey
is so
Mag-
good.
no, they're
you
so
know what,
good.
Matt? What's
I don't get the hate for Raising Cane's. That's so forced.
don't
See now we've
Raising
gone
Cane's is
from
amazing.
do we have
we've
to-
gone
what's the
from
word?
Jesus predicting his death to talking about chicken.
Hey man,
A
He made-
different
I mean,
restaurant.
technically he made, not
Matt,
technically. I mean, he made
Guys,
this.
we're tired.
We are.
Yeah, we
I'm
are tired.
completely exhausted.
This is what happens when you get a
So,
bunch of tired
um,
people recording stuff. But
What do we got next? Anybody want to have any more close?
oh yeah, we have. So next episode is going to be. Let's see. Is chapter 18 a shorter one?
It's like something from Joshua.
Yeah, 18 and 19 seem to
They're
be
like-
shorter.
They're around the
It's like
same.
a
There's a
Joshua
lot of
chapter,
shorter.
it's like
Oh,
16
19
chapters.
is a good bit shorter, but
That's
18's around the
me,
same.
though.
16 and 17.
What?
Okay. So then we may just fit 18 and 19 into one episode
I
again.
thought,
episode
Matt, for a
13.
second you're like, we're just gonna do it now.
We're just
my
gonna-
brain.
Bro.
Let's do a
I'll
3-hour
like-
episode.
Let's do it. I'm
couldn't
just
do
kidding.
that. My
Yeah,
life
that were-
depended on it. I could.
He's like, I couldn't do it in my sleep.
No, I could not.
I
do it.
need to be
I'm falling
asleep. What are you
apart.
talking about? Everything. So my my classes start in like 2 days, and I
Right.
haven't got.
Yeah, for context, he has a summer class that he's taking for how long?
It's all the
How
way
long
till
you going?
July 25th.
Oh my gosh.
Grant,
What are you in summer school? I'm just kidding.
But we have to
I-
make that.
I'm not
The only
doing that
reason I'm
right now.
joking about that is because I've been in summer school before, so I know it's
You
like.
have a podcast
here's
from
the
your
thing.
experience.
Here's the thing. It's there's only 3 people as it. Oh.
No, you're good. You're
So
good.
as you know,
Just keep
there's only
talking.
3 people, so it just really
pulling
it's
up the
really
endings.
casual to the point where I have no clue when it even starts. I know when it ends, but I don't know when.
Uh-oh. Don't let it fall. Don't,
Oh, there it goes.
I'm not
Oh,
taking
it's
any summer
dead.
courses
You,
because I want to enjoy my first semester. I mean, first year.
bro, you done killed it.
Well, he's,
You
he's
killed the water
next.
bottle.
Okay, we gotta give him.
Oh,
a
no.
name.
do we
What's his
wanna-
name?
Do we want to close out?
Well, what do you want to finish
I
what you were saying?
As long as it
I was saying, what do we want to name the dog? And Nathan, like, why?
Oh,
We can
were
name it
discuss-
Woody.
Oh god, no. Oh gosh, I didn't even know we were on that. We were talking about the duck.
Yes.
He just
I
wa-
just started
yeah,
getting on.
He
So
just
you
brought it up.
wisely.
We can yeah.
All right, vote, guys. What do we name it?
All right.
You guys
Well,
wanna do a prayer or name the duck?
yeah. Who wants to go ahead and pray us out?
I think I did last time. If you want me to do it, I can.
You did.
So we go counterclock. I did it
he
last
did.
episode before, and so you're next, Matt.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Good lord.
Goodness gracious.
Oh.
That was
This
probably
is
the
what
worst.
happens when I'm sick, folks. When
He
or
has a
not
voice
sick, excuse
crack,
me.
I will
It's
stutter
allergies.
So
sometimes
you've been
for
voice cracking.
absolute-
I've been voice cracking like crazy, all
Oh
day
my
today, just like that.
You've been voice cracking for like 3 years.
Especially whenever I'm sick.
That's normal. Yeah, that's normal. I voice crack all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I've yawned like a few times. Says,
You,
Oh
that's why
my
I keep
God.
yawning. It's
I'm
your
definitely
fault.
zooming in on you after whenever I start editing this. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so fun. Oh, there it goes again.
All right.
okay, so
You be hit. All right, all right.
Start yawning. All right. Who wants?
Let's go ahead.
Are you ready? You're right?
Yep.
All right, let's
I'll
do
go
it.
ahead. Father, we love you. We thank you for this time here, getting to record, spreading the gospel for you, Father. Excuse me. And I'm grateful to have gotten to have Andrew and Nathan here together with me once more. I pray that we're able to do this again, but also along with Jeremiah one day, if our schedules, align. Yeah, and I'm very grateful for the viewers on the other side of the screen. There it goes again. Bro, this is what happens when I get sick. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. But anywho, Father, I thank you for this time. I thank you very much for the opportunity to spread your gospel and your word in a unique manner that I originally didn't want to do. So thank you again, Father, and thank you for your Son, Jesus, and his sacrifice. In Christ's mighty name I pray. Amen. Yeah.
always went before.
This one was fun.
Bro, my voice, my freaking larynx or whatever the heck that's called was just like,
yeah,
"Huh?"
voice,
Say
yeah,
about
it's
this
your
one?
voice box. Yeah.
This was a really fun episode to do. Because
Oh, why? Last one wasn't good.
I didn't. Oh yeah. Okay, buddy. Oh yeah. Okay.
that's because it was your first
So,
episode.
yeah, I feel
Casey,
like this one.
it's my
I feel
dog.
like this one was a good bit better for me. I feel like I started the other one.
For
I
you,
stuttered and
yeah,
stuff 'cause
I
was
think you
slow
did.
nervous,
I think you did a good bit
but
better.
It was really fun. I just think the topics we were able to cover
Mhm.
were not expected. I didn't think we were gonna go with them, but yeah, that was really
Right.
fun. That was really interesting to cover.
Well, I'm grateful to have had you
We.
over again. I'm thankful that now that the summer is here, our schedules are freed up a lot more than they were before,
do wanna say-
especially after
And
finals.
wow.
I do want to say this real quick because Matt showed me the
Mhm.
statistics we had, and again, this show is never about
statistics. It's never about viewership. Well, we would love it's for people to watch
Yeah,
this, but it's not.
the last,
You know,
the last. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
I,
You go ahead.
I was just saying, like, this show is not about how much, what's like.
Sorry, I saw
You
somebody
kind of like.
walking outside.
How do I say this? Yeah, we do like when people watch, but that's not all it's about. But I will say, um, and I think this goes for all of us. It's
Right.
been awesome to see the growth that, and it's been really cool.
And just from the one episode too, like I mean, I'll stick and put up a picture right here above my hands. Like this we got almost 200 views on the 11th episode.
They sat through our
I know to
rambles.
some of
They
y'all who
sat
may
through
watch
Crucify
YouTubers who
and
get like
Magdalene.
millions of views every day, but like to us, this is
Oh, we could
200 sets of eyes that are seeing.
You want to,
this.
yeah, you put 200 people in a room. That's your reach. And
We're
Mhm,
gonna
exactly.
become the
you know,
Mr.
even
Beast of
even
this
just a
podcast.
few,
Shut
even
up.
just a few.
Mr. Beast,
Um,
bro, he turned into an atheist.
I don't even know what he said. But yeah, I just want to say like this is coming from all of us.
Hmm.
Like,
Thank
we
you,
could not
thank
be,
you for
we
all
could
the
not
support.
be
Yeah.
more thankful that you guys are giving us, especially the host right here, just an absolute,
You're gonna
awesome.
make him blush, bro.
Oh,
Not joking.
just a
Only
really
women
cool
do
outlet.
that.
Just a really cool
Yeah.
outlet
No,
to just hear us.
you never
yeah.
blushed. All right, whatever.
I think we're all just so thankful that we're all just able to have just a really cool outlet to speak about this stuff. I mean,
Right.
you know, this is tough. You know, this is a very unique opportunity that, um, you know, the viewers, you guys watching, have given all of us. You know, so we're all
Right.
thankful for it. I know this has
Exactly.
been your main goal, so I know this has just been just
Yeah, just to reach as many people as I can with the gospel. Yeah, that's been the main mission of
it's
this.
been awesome, and I just keep hoping, you know,
In a unique way
and
too.
and of course it's never about the numbers, but you know it's just so exciting to see
Yeah,
just
it
the
is
massive
exciting for
growth
sure.
that has been able to be on this show, and you know we're all just thankful for it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's cool too is it was your first
Yeah.
ever episode when
You
and
know,
had that we got
I'm
that
the
much growth.
reason.
Maybe they like
Maybe
you just
they
that
just
much.
like me saying
Just kidding.
Magdalene and
You have that.
Crucify.
Magdalene
Dude, I was so
Crucify.
tired when I did that.
Oh yeah, if y'all haven't
Oh
haven't
my
seen
gosh.
those, yeah,
Instead
go
of-
ahead and check
okay,
out
so
episode number
instead of
10 after
Magdalene,
this.
I said
Or not 10, 11,
Magdalene.
excuse me.
So instead of Magdalene, and this might this might have helped because I was taking Italian. A name like that, it would be in Italian. A name like that probably would be pronounced like Magdalene, but I was just so
Right.
tired that I flipped. I didn't flip anything, but I just kind of read this.
You spaghettified.
I dude,
All
Crucify
right.
was just funny. I don't even. I'm glad that happened.
We're gonna go ahead
Let's
and
talk about Crucify.
send
We're
it
like
off, and
all
we can continue this afterward if you want to. The conversation.
Do you want to send it off?
Yeah. If y'all do not know, what it is to be saved, or you want to be saved, or learn more about being saved, feel free to go ahead and reach out to the email right here on the screen for those of you watching. And for those of you listening, it is the Hooked on Jesus podcast at gmail.com. Not, excuse me, the word the is not in there, forgive me. And it is spelled HOOKEDON. Just,
Keep going.
let me try that again. HOOKEDONJESUSPODCAST, and the at symbol, and then GMAIL.com. See, that time I
really
didn't get
good.
it the first time.
That was really good.
That time I met that
That was really good.
that time
There you go.
that
We got an
time
audience now.
she's clapping in the background. That time I didn't get it the first time, but that's okay.
Nah, that's fine.
We're not about being perfect here, as we've
Yeah,
already
that's the whole thing.
stated.
That's
the whole
point
thing.
of this.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, so if you would like to keep up with the podcast, you can go ahead, and if you're watching over on YouTube, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that little bell icon as well, and click to all notifications so that way you do not miss another episode of the Hooked on Jesus podcast. Over on Spotify, you can go ahead and click that follow button. And if you are listening over on Pandora and Apple Podcasts for the audio-only episodes, you can go ahead and click the follow button over there. Now, there is also the Instagram account for the podcast. It is at Hooked on Jesus Podcast, and you'll get to see, photos of behind the scenes, maybe a little bit of a script reveal, and what we're gonna do, and yeah, thumbnail photos as well. Oh yeah, if y'all wanna at one point see the designs for these shirts that we have on, I have the I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, the John 3:16 design. Andrew over here has Proverbs chapter 11 verse 2, and then Nathan over here has Joshua 1:9. I'll go ahead and turn around for y'all who
We
are
all just need to
watching.
turn around. Well, I mean, you and I, it would be
I am like
disadvantageous.
surrounded by wires, so if I feel like I get up,
No, I- Matt's-
Yeah, you're
this
good. You're
whole
good.
little setup
But
is
yeah,
about to
so
go under.
so with the design, so it's the hook. The words "Hooked on Jesus" podcast in a circle, and then you got a fish in the middle. Largemouth bass jumping out of the water, and it says established 2024. And then it just says one of the Bible verses. And so far, they're the only three designs that I have, but they look pretty good,
All 66.
and they're darn comfortable.
Every
And the cool thing about it,
single
too, is-
verse.
You do that. You should let the fans, or the fans, let the
let
readers,
let them
like if they want,
let them
if
decide if they
have
want
a
to wear
big
what we
verse,
wear,
I think you should do that. Where it's like if
where they get to
they
pick a
get
verse.
to pick it if they want, like if
They get to
there's some,
customize. They can customize their
I
own
think that'd
shirt.
be really cool.
That's a good idea, but of course we don't have enough of
No, I'm saying
support
like
to
in the
be.
future, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that'd be really
for
cool.
sure. That's definitely a good idea. But yeah,
It's been fun.
yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
Thanks again for coming and being here for this.
We made
Um, yeah, exactly. We did. We made it to the very end. As always, for everybody who has been here since the beginning, I want to and everybody else is new. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for watching or listening to this episode, whatever depending on what platform you're on. I hope each of you have a blessed day or night, wherever you may be, and God bless. And remember, Jesus loves you.